here in Nashville for the 7th Country Music Marathon and Half Marathon. I think it says a lot about the city of Nashville, what it has to offer.
Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of the Nashville Fit podcast from the Game Day Men's Health Studio. I have to make it interesting every time, but
it's dramatic intro, man.
Yeah.
I like the dramatic pause.
I never think about it before, but then like the split second before Trent says, "Okay, go," I'm like, what am I gonna do? And then I go into it.
I try and just whoever you turn into.
I try and change it every time, but also not be too weird because, like, first impressions, man. What if it's somebody's first episode and they're like,
Well, listen, it is episode 60, and I still don't know who you're gonna be.
Yeah,
like every episode is like. So first impressions, I don't think that matters with this one because you bring a different person every time you do an intro. It's like
sure
I don't know who's
you never know what you're gonna get.
Never know. You keep them coming.
I'm like
back.
a Pez candy dispenser. All right.
Wow.
So actually, you know exactly what you're gonna get.
That's
with
what I was
those.
gonna say. Like Pez is like
analogy.
no matter the color, it's gonna be the exact same candy.
What do they say?
Every time.
Is it the Kinder Egg? You never know what you're gonna get.
So I heard a random fact, and now I'm interested. I have to go buy some.
Hang on, let's introduce ourselves first.
Okay, hey,
My name is Savanna Hill. Y'all can call me Sav. Hi.
Hey, I am the Gerell Webb.
Okay, back to it.
Yeah, here we are. Now
Okay,
we're back on track.
continue.
I heard a random fact, and I want to know if it's true or not.
Okay.
All Skittles taste the same, no matter the color. That's fake news? You've tried it,
I've heard
Trent?
that about Fruit Loops.
One at a time?
He doesn't want you to ruin his childhood.
That's really what it is. Trent's like, I'm not, you're not going to reel me into that.
But I'm assuming this.
Purple tastes different? Like, not the tropical
I
ones,
agree.
like the traditional Skittles. Yeah.
I
All
feel
of
like
them
they taste
the same.
different. I don't normally eat them one at a time.
I have to go eat them one at a time now to figure that part out.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
the taste test, like live
we're
Skittles
definitely
taste
doing
test.
that. I've heard that about Fruit Loops as well.
I mean, yeah, Fruit Loops, that's true. For
Yeah,
sure.
and that I would believe
Somebody's
more than
biased.
Skittles.
Fruit Loops for sure. Mister, definitely Fruit Loops, but not Skittles. No way Skittles taste
Trent's
the same.
back here defending
Right.
Skittles hard. I love when we catch something that Trent's like really passionate about. 'cause
Right. Trent's like,
Trent
that's
is
why,
like,
hey,
Trent's-
Trent's like, I don't stand my ground often here, guys. This is where I put my foot down.
and
Like,
the funny part when that happens is Trent is like soft spoken, like he's chilling, and then like when he gets passionate, he's like,
he sits
hands
up.
on hips. He's like, actually,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Takes his earphones out. Like, hey, first of all, guys,
We need to do an episode with Trent on here because Trent's so cool.
Let's catch up, man. I
Let's
feel
do
like
it.
I haven't seen you in
know.
a minute. Did you miss
Did you
me?
fall off
First
the face of the earth?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Just want to know if you missed me. That's really all I care
Yeah,
about.
I missed
Okay,
you.
that's
We
all-
had a
that's all
natty
I
or
had to
not
say.
question, and
Yeah, that's all I wanted to hear. That's
knew
all I
how to
wanted to
answer
hear.
it on Basket of Debate.
I've just been working. So the catch up days I've been filming. So
Yeah.
that's really it. It's not.
What's
it's
your
not
big?
me, it's you.
What are you working on these days?
So I'm working on my app.
Nice.
And so I've been having to film like a lot of workouts.
Yeah.
To launch at the end of January, beginning of February.
Nice.
Just depends, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine lots of demo videos that you're.
A lot of demo
filming. Yeah.
videos, a lot of hype videos, all the behind the scenes things. That
Are you gonna
people
have
don't
like
get to
little
see.
Gerells in there, like because you do this on your Instagram now, and I love it. How did you do that? You made like a sticker of yourself.
Oh,
That's like you'll throw a quote on there or like a video of yourself, and then there will be like a smaller Gerell in the corner, and it'll be
Smaller
like,
Gerell.
yeah,
Smaller
Like,
Gerell
that's so
in the
cool. I
corner.
love it.
No, it's actually really simple. It's just a copy and paste from your whatever photo you have.
Oh,
so you know
wow.
you can copy photos. Like
Yeah.
if you hold down a photo,
Right.
you can. So then you just paste it onto the.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
There you
think
go.
I'm
There's
about to
a
do that.
IG
anytime
hack for you
soon,
guys.
but
I think you should.
I
Sav.
feel like that's a you thing. I feel like I'm not a sticker girl.
Of course you are. Until you are. You're not until you are.
I don't know. Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Gerell is hilarious on his Instagram. Like, if you follow him long enough, like he'll motivate you, but then if you follow him and like actually watch his stories and stuff, you had one, you put your client on blast for not showing up. And you put the whole text thread where he was saying he was going to come.
Right.
And you confirmed like 3 times. And then you said, point of view of me spotting my client that didn't show up. He's literally straight faced. That's what makes it so funny. He takes the barbell off like he's benching somebody just for like
Nobody's
a good 10
there, yeah.
seconds. Acts like he's spotting. It was so funny. It cracked me up. That's humor right there.
Thank you, Sav.
People don't
You
know
know,
that kind of humor, and that's humor.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I describe myself. Tough love with a little bit of humor.
Oh, it's
So
hilarious.
that's
You
who
throw
I
those
am.
in, and I love it.
Yeah.
So if you follow Gerell for motivation, you know,
Follow me for humor as well.
there's more to him than that.
There's more just a piece of meat, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's bring in our guest,
Let's do
Robert.
it.
Now we're talking.
He's sitting here so patiently.
I know, right? He's just like, what is happening here? So I was reading over Robert's bio, and now we'll jump into all of that. But Robert has checked a lot of boxes.
Oh, yeah.
that, as you know, I want to check as well. But before we jump into that, we're going to jump into the infamous basket of debate. And so we're going to grab one. Is that a sticker? Is that a... Okay.
So we
Is
each
it a
grab
few?
grab one. Okay.
We each grab one, and then you'll... Yeah.
That is
and
it's the bending
we'll
board
read it out
sticker.
loud. And we basically will just debate these topics. I'll go first because I already know where I'm at on this. And I know where Sav is on this one. I know I can answer for Sav on this one.
You do know me pretty well at this point.
In or out, pumpkin spice protein powder.
Actually, you might not know because I'm going to say no to that.
You gonna say no to that?
Just because it's protein powder.
You don't do protein powder?
I just feel like it's protein powder is already like kind of like gross, no matter what the flavor.
Yeah.
Unless you mix it with stuff. So I feel like that would ruin both protein and pumpkin spice for me.
you?
I'm scared of it.
Yeah?
I'm
What
not
do you
going to say
say?
completely out because I haven't tried it, but
Okay, but you're willing.
yeah,
Taste test,
maybe
maybe.
I could do without it.
What if you did it with like a coffee, pumpkin spice coffee? Like you put a little protein powder
I would want
in your
somebody who
coffee?
knew what they were doing to make it for me.
Okay.
Because I feel like I just know like if I try it, there's a very strong, like a 50-50 chance that I might hate it.
Yeah.
And
that
then
turns
be
you
like,
off on
well,
all
now I
of it.
can't drink pumpkin spice lattes anymore.
That may be what we need. That may
Does
be
it bother
exactly
you?
how we get you out of that. Yeah. What do you say, Robert?
What's the sugar on that?
Man, we're not there yet.
We're not there. Well, I think I just. Yeah.
How much protein are we talking?
Taste
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
protein powder. Would
No,
you-
it's a
would you
protein
go
powder,
with
so I'm
it?
assuming there's protein in there. But
Yeah.
I'd say that'd be my first question. What's the sugar? If the sugar's low or no, then I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely,
You're with it?
100%.
Right on.
I mean, I'm not a pumpkin pie person, but
Yeah.
I think those pumpkin spice, the ice creams and those kind of things, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty tasty.
Okay.
I like them. So as long as it's not a sugar blast,
Yeah.
I could
can
I
do
could
it?
go with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I feel like I would need the sugar in order to like it.
In order for it to be delicious, yeah. And like,
Yeah.
actually, I need the sugar.
See that
Please.
pumpkin spice latte? That's a glucose spike there.
Yeah.
So
Store is your one-stop shop for all of your modern-day wellness and recovery needs. We believe in a multi-solution approach to wellness. That's why we offer different modalities such as IV drip therapy, NAD therapy, cryotherapy, red light therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and numerous others. Our services help our customers enhance athletic performance, boost mental and physical health, as well as aid in recovery at an affordable price. Whether you are an extreme athlete or just somebody who wants to feel better, we provide wellness services to help you meet your health goals. We make the world's most cutting-edge wellness services available at 225 locations nationwide. Taking charge of your health and wellness has never been simpler or more convenient.
as much as I would maybe like that,
Gimme.
because I was a heavy kid and I'm no stranger to glucose spikes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I'd have to ask.
Okay.
About the sugar. Yeah.
All right.
That was an intelligent answer. I
No,
feel like I
right?
could
We were
start.
just like, no. Yeah, he was like, how much
more.
sugar are we talking? Yeah.
Like that was a.
That's usually my first question in
Logically.
anything like that.
Feels
you know,
like we don't know what we're doing, Sav. Like we haven't been training all this time. It's like,
Oh,
we
I'm
didn't ask any
fully
of those
aware of how
questions.
much sugar is in a
We didn't
pumpkin
ask any
spice
of those
latte.
No, you clearly know what you're doing. You clearly know what you're doing. You wouldn't be here.
I
What
feel
do you
like
have, Robert? What's your question?
Okay,
then?
let me look at this. This is I like this. This is off the cuff here stuff. What is your favorite part of winter? On the count of 3, everyone says theirs at the same time. So should I count?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
okay,
let me
you
think.
count.
Let me think.
Okay,
let
give
me
me
think.
a favorite part of winter.
I know my favorite part of winter is.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Sam, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
When it
When
ends.
it's done.
Yeah, man, we have the same. When it ends. Yeah, wow.
That's brilliant minds thinking alike there.
What, you said
What did you
Snuggles?
say? I didn't even hear
You
yours.
said Snuggles? Is that what you
What
said?
did you guys say?
Snuggles? Sav? That's
I
what
like
you
how I
did?
won't know what you said until
Yeah.
after the episode. Wait,
We both said when it's done.
Yeah.
when it's done.
Yeah. Both had the same answer. Now, this is my first time meeting Robert, guys. We didn't talk about this, but let you know
Yeah.
that we have kindred
So-
We're in
spirits.
sync.
Yeah.
I hate winter, but like I know that if I go into winter with that mindset, I'm going to hate it worse. You know, so I try to find silver linings to it. It actually used to be my
Snuggles.
favorite season only because I was like a self-conscious teenager when it was my favorite season, and I was like, oh, I can cover up my body with
Yeah.
clothing. Summertime is like the devil, but now that I'm not insecure and not confident in my body, that's flip-flopped. I love summer, hate winter, but try to find some positivity in like the snuggles and the movies and the hot cocoa and all that stuff. So
Jeez.
don't
Your
get
Tennessee came
snow
out on
here.
hot cocoa. I see your Tennessee came out in hot cocoa.
Oh,
The way
did
you
it
said
now?
Yeah. Hot cocoa.
you don't say. Well,
With
hot
schnapps?
cocoa?
With schnapps or no?
Definitely better with schnapps.
Or pumpkin spice protein.
What do they typically put? Kahlua. I love it
There
with
you go.
Kahlua. Oof, Kahlua is
you go.
dangerous for me. Anyways, my mom loves chocolate martinis too. So yeah, there's some nice things about winter. Anyways,
Okay.
what's your preference during the winter? Cold and sunny or cold and snowy? I mean,
Cold and sunny. If I have to, can we
that's a
just get
terrible
sunny?
question.
Yeah, it's-
Sunny, no cold.
I'd say cold and
I don't want cold.
cold and sunny, but not warm enough that the sun is melting everything and then it
Right.
turns to ice because that's the worst.
Yeah,
That's the worst.
that's a good
It's just-
point.
it's like cold is great, but freezing rain. That's where I draw a line. I grew up in Indiana, and I went to school up north, right up near the Michigan line. I went to school at Ball State, which is in the center
So
of
you know
Indiana.
snow.
I know snow well, and I can remember very, very clearly the second I was going to get out of school, I'm either going to Florida or I'm going to LA. I mean, there's no hesitation. I got out of school on a Sunday, and I was on the road Tuesday.
Yeah,
Because
I
I,
don't
just
blame
didn't,
you.
because it was because of the freezing rain for the most part.
Yeah.
Winter's cool.
No.
Snow is cool. I'm gonna say,
Snow
I'll take
over
that back.
freezing
Winter's not
rain.
cool. Snow is cool.
I'm right there with you. Like, if it snows in Tennessee, I'm like, great day, let's go play. But when it's just cold and icy, like, you remember that ice storm we had, like a few years back? Mm-hmm. It was a little bit longer than a few years back, but Tennessee just kind of like goes,
Yeah, I was
I
just
don't
saying.
know what to do.
It seems like it cripples for about 1 to 2
Yeah.
weeks, and everything stops.
Because no one knows how to drive in it.
Right.
And people think they know how to drive in it. You know what's funny? It's always like guys with like the big tall trucks that are like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like a big truck. I can handle it. But that's exactly the vehicle that you don't want to be driving in the ice because
Right.
it's so large. It's going to slide easier. It's top heavy. And there was one year, that was the year I think that I was trying to get an Uber out. Like everybody was stuck and I was just looking for an Uber. Like I was just going stir crazy. And I'm like, I just want to go somewhere. There's one Uber and he drove like an hour to pick me up from like, it's not typically an hour away. Toyota Corolla. Just like a Toyota Corolla out here.
Yeah,
the
listen.
only Uber driver, the only driver.
Those cars are indestructible, man. Corollas.
Exactly. So I always tell my mom's looking for a different car right now. She wants to trade it. I was like, Toyota Corolla.
Nah, you got probably not the new ones. You got to get like a 95.
Probably, yeah.
Like a
Like a
90, you
tank.
can't kill a 95 Toyota Corolla. It's
Yeah,
gonna
like
have 400,000 miles
200,000
on it. It's gonna just drive like nothing ever happened to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I made sure I got new tires before winter. I
That's
got
smart.
new tires like 2 weeks ago, so
Okay.
I'm good.
You're ready now.
I feel confident.
Yeah, you're
Nice.
good. Okay.
Nice. I probably won't be driving in it.
Yeah, I'm
Just be like-
definitely going to sit at home. I'm going to, we're going to jump into Robert and his story. I don't even know where to start. You've done so much. Let's start back at Ball State. Let's
Okay.
start there.
Okay.
I'm assuming you majored in exercise science.
No,
What'd you major in?
majored in radio, TV, and film.
Radio, TV, and film.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went when I got to LA. I started all that, all the. I did all my prerequisites for chiropractic school, PT school.
yeah.
Physician's assistant.
Did you know you wanted to go into fitness at that point, or were you just-
No. The story is actually when I got to LA, I was looking to stay in shape because I had actually danced in college.
What type of dance?
I did a lot of musical theater.
Cool.
Really?
And I did,
Okay.
So I took ballet and
I too took ballet. Right?
yeah, ballet is amazing. Yeah, it's like then it was like cool for athletic guys to take ballet.
I still think it's cool.
Yeah,
but,
it's amazing, and it did some amazing things. So when I moved to LA, I was taking some of those classes to stay in shape. It got pretty expensive, and about 2 blocks around the corner was Rocky's Racket World, and my girlfriend at the time was a member there, and I went down there and I discovered aerobics.
Yeah.
And went down there and started taking aerobics classes, and being the competitive individual that I can sometimes be, I would get up in the front row and I'd start competing with the head instructor. Just get up there and you know how it is in group classes.
Oh yeah.
And one day, this is actually how I got into fitness. And one day, you know how group classes, there's a lot of camaraderie and you get to be friends with everybody. We're all waiting outside the class. It's Saturday morning, and this lady's name's Nancy. She comes running down the hall, right in front of everybody, and we're all waiting to go into the class, and she stops. She stands right in front of me. She puts her hands on my shoulder. She says, "Rob, I need you to start teaching tomorrow." And I looked around, everybody's looking at me, and I said, "Okay." So that's how it started.
Wow.
I got into aerobics, got certified then, and that was August of 1983.
Right on.
Dolphin shorts, leg warmers.
Let's
the whole
go.
Whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Got any
Yeah.
old pictures of that?
I have pictures. Well, I do. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see
Yeah.
this because the next, about 3 or 4 months later, I got into. I started at Rocky's Racket World. I got into Sports Connection.
Okay.
Sports Connection. If you look back, John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis did a movie
Is that
called
where they did the
Perfect. Yeah, that's
the
it. That's
awkward
That's
hip
it.
thrust?
The
Were you
whole
in
thing.
there?
Well,
Were
I
you
was.
the person in the back?
I had just started with Sports Connection, and me and 3 other girls were hired as an aerobics dance team to go and do promotions for Perfect.
Yeah.
So we went to all kinds. There's some pictures on Instagram of me and the girls at a Clipper game, LA Clipper game, before they played at the Forum. The Forum. This was at the LA Convention Center.
Wow.
And I'm in red tights, white tank top, and that's where it started.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
That is, man. That
I'm gonna have
is.
to
And then-
go to your Instagram.
Yeah.
I know,
and
right?
years-
I know we got to find.
Yeah,
we gotta
years
find
later,
that picture.
but that started it out. So I feel pretty good about that because I've gone through many eras of fitness, and I became then all about education. I have probably 10 certifications. Went back to school, and this is another fast forward a little bit when I got into Dr. Phil and the nutritionist part of what I was doing opened up. I went back and got my CN from a college, a remote college at that point, but I took the tests at Cal State Northridge. And I became a nutritionist, and so I've maintained it. And I think it's really important. I've always found this important. Some professionals, trainers, and nutritionists don't think it's important, but I think it's important to maintain those certifications. So
Oh, yeah.
everything, all that
Tell
alphabet.
me why.
Oh, because it just legitimizes you. It also you see somebody gets an exercise physiology degree in 1984. I mean, how outdated is that?
Right.
It's not even relevant anymore. But what those certifications do is they keep you in line with what's current. And I like to tell people sometimes I do a lot of videos on my Instagram, and I say, look, I'm a real efficient and unique combination of old school meets very competitive and current new school.
Yeah.
So I've always had the reputation of knowing my stuff.
Yeah.
And that's because I study.
Okay.
Because I was moderately athletically gifted. So I was that guy that was like, oh, Bob's got all that heart in the world. He's got so much heart. That was me. So I just had to try a little bit harder than everybody else. So
It's worth it more though.
What have you seen? You've been in the industry for over 41 years.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen change in those times? And do you think like we're in a better place now or a worse place as an industry?
That's a really great question. I mean, that's a whole podcast right there.
Right.
It really is. Well, gosh, I think when it started, it was, I remember working at Sports Connection. I worked in another club called Mid-Valley Athletic Club, and even Rockies. Rockies not so much as where I started because I kind of left there after Sports Connection kept me really busy. But they made you maintain certifications. I did not instinctually get a certification because I was filling up the room without a certification, just with my dolphin shorts and my leg warmers.
Yeah.
And my rock music. Everybody was using these dance tracks, the whole thing, and I was, like the club tracks.
Yep.
And I was using, Van Halen and Loverboy and John Mellencamp and Kenny Loggins. And man, my classes were all packed.
Okay.
They were all packed. So, but at one point I got ACE. That was my first certification. ACE, which is, I believe, still around. And then I actually let that one go because I got into NASM, and I've got 5 of their certifications. I got into NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association, the CSCS, which you all are familiar with. CN, Certified Nutritionist, and then I got all kinds of behavioral change specialists because so much of this is psychological, and I hope we can get into some of that because I working with who I've worked with for 22, 23 years. There's a lot behind it, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So
ACE has a cert, or NASM has a cert for that.
For behavior? Yeah.
Behavioral change specialist, behavioral change specialist. Yeah, and it's a really good one. And it's a really good one. So through the years, what's bothered me about the fitness business is it's mostly been about aesthetics. See, because so much of what the fitness industry puts out there is from the outside in.
Oh, yeah.
It's external. And I think that has kept 80% of Americans out of it because they don't feel like they belong. They're not in the arena.
I can totally agree with that.
Yeah, and so it's always been that 20% of Americans, and they get the quote unquote recommended amount of exercise, whatever that is, because that's kind of a vague with the term how I put it out there, but it's not invited the people that need to help the most. And I've always maintained that there's a communication gap between the fitness and the wellness industry and the people that need the help the most. And that's why we've got 74% of Americans obese and overweight. We got 50% of adults and kids pre-diabetes or diabetes. We got 18% of kids with fatty liver disease. We got I don't know what the percentage of antidepressant medications, but you got a lot of people on there that are just depressed because they don't do anything. So the industry, I think, still embraces that external. And that bothers me. But and on the other hand, it doesn't bother me because that makes me unique. And I bring in, I talk to people. I make every session or every presentation I do an experience because I live this. I was a heavy kid. I was that kid addicted to ultra processed foods. I'd sit on the curb in front of what at the time it was Super X, but what is like a Walgreens or a CVS now, and I'd sit on there and eat a 12-pack of fudge bars. Just eat it because I could. Nicky D's Pizza. I grew up in a town. There was a lot of great Italian restaurants. I mean, I'd never met a carbohydrate I didn't love at the time. But I think what's going on right now with the politics of this, it's all been elevated now, and I think we're going to see a lot. I think we're going to see this all on a whole new level. I hope, but the industry needs to focus more from the inside out, in my opinion.
I
don't
disagree.
So can I play the other side of that?
Sure.
Because I think the industry has always been outside in. Outside of, I'm thinking, I was sitting there thinking, like, while you were talking, outside of probably Richard Simmons, it's always been about the external.
Right.
Body by Jake. Every infomercial that you saw was a bodybuilder or of some sort or a blonde.
Right.
I remember my mom used to do the Jane Fonda workouts.
Oh yeah,
it's all,
that's my day. That's back when I started. I know people in those videos.
So it's always like Jane Fonda was a hit for a reason.
Yeah.
She was a hit because she was hot.
Yeah.
Right? And every housewife, every mother wanted to look like Jane Fonda.
Right.
At the time, the thigh gap was a thing.
Sure.
It's always been outside looking. I don't think that's changed now. I think we have a better way of showing it because we have social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a DVD, so it may be the same approach just on steroids, so to speak.
Right.
But I think our industry has always been about the way that you look.
Well, there are two things on that. Number one, looking good is a byproduct. I want to look good.
Mm-hmm.
I come in here. I want to present well. I'm all about looks.
Okay.
I'm all about image.
I mean, we would all be lying if we said we didn't care about what we look like.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the many things that Dr. Phil, my main mentor, taught me is about image. You know, we all have an image, and you want to maintain that image. And some people look at that and go, "Oh, image." Well, that's kind of like arrogant. Whatever. It's not arrogant. It is what it is.
Yep.
But the other thing, what you're talking about is it's always been. That's exactly the problem. Is that it always has been external. So the same, like I said, generation by generation, the same 20% are in and 80% are out.
Then how do we sell fitness without selling results then? Right? Like I'll never.
So
I'll meet a client and say, everyone's gonna say I want to lose 20 pounds, or hey, they're gonna come to you and say, hey, I want to like you, Saf. That's my goal, right? When you walk into a gym, you're looking at people and like, okay, that's the guy that I'm chasing or the girl that I'm chasing,
Right.
It's always external. We understand as professionals that there's a behavior part of it. We understand that like, no, you need to change your mindset in order to get the 20-pound weight loss that you're looking for,
100%,
right?
100%.
But that's not sexy. I can't sell
Here's
you that.
what I try to like at least represent and maybe talk about, but I think there's like two different types of like promotion going out about like what, like be healthy, be fit. There's like people who are really like appearance based, like you're talking about.
Sure.
Like that's where that's most of the industry, right? And then we are starting to talk about other things, like, but I feel like people who talk about the other stuff are like hard no on aesthetics and hard no on like, it's not about what you look like. It's not at all about what you look like. Stop focusing on that. And you brought that up just a second ago. You said the thing about image and how some people are like, like I don't like that, or like are put off by that. But it's like you also have an image by saying it's not about the image, So it's like you can't deny that. You can't deny that there is an appearance to your face, your body, everything, like your body composition. It's there. That's a factor. But I think what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is it's all about that. And then for the people who are like, I hate that it's all about that, so let's make it all about mental health or all about like healthy at every size. And then, so it's like those are two extreme sides to me. Like, why can't it be both?
Right.
Well, I
Because
think
it is all both, like.
I think it's up to us as the professionals to hold that standard, though.
Yes.
Right. To say, hey, yes, I look like this or like this, but it's also because of the mind shift that I had at whatever age. From
and I'm not driven by looks.
Curve.
Right.
But I think we all are driven by looks.
A little
That's
bit.
my argument.
But
So that's
we
not
all are a little
wrong, but
bit.
it's not the only thing I'm driven by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the only- yes.
And if it's
yes.
the only thing you're driven by, then it's probably not going to happen for you. Like it can't be the only thing that you're driven by, Gerell.
Right.
Like there has to be other things that you are driven by.
1,000%.
But
I
people are
also
only
know-
focused on the image and on the appearance.
And that's why I said it's our job as a professional
Yes.
to hold the standard and say, hey, yes. So, for example, I have a client. She's had 6 kids. She came to me and she wants to lose weight. Right. I was like, before we even start talking about losing weight, let's fix your pelvic floor. Let's strengthen. Let's get you back to just whatever normal is for you. Yeah. Then we'll go from there. Right. So yes, and all she wants to do is lose 20 pounds. I don't care about that. Right. I care about getting you back healthy, strong. So as the professionals, it's up to us to understand, which is why we have the certification, which is why people come to us to understand that it's the behavior part. So when you come in for a session, it's not just me coaching you on form, it's me coaching you on mindset as well, right?
Sure.
It's me coaching you outside of the gym and saying, hey, this weekend I need you to focus on eating like this. You got one meal where you can do what you want, and then the rest of that, and I'm checking in and making sure we're coaching that mindset. People aren't going to do that because it's not sexy, right? So people aren't going to come to you and say, "Hey, I got to have a
People aren't
behavior
gonna post
change."
that either.
They're not going to. That's not what anybody comes to us for, right?
Yeah.
They know that's what they need, right? But they come to us because they want to lose 20 pounds,
Right.
We show them with a GPS. We showed them how to get there, and it usually has nothing to do with what we're doing this hour in the gym.
Right.
It's the 23 hours that you're at home by yourself is what we're coaching, right?
Sure.
Which brings me up, and so I want to make sure we have enough time to stay and have a good conversation about. For 21 years, you've been working with this random guy called Dr. Phil, right?
22 now.
22 years, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Phil, you have been his head nutritionist for the show, also trainer.
Head trainer,
Head trainer for
Head
the
trainer,
show.
nutritionist,
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything out. Let's talk about, how you got into that, and what is it like training Dr. Phil?
Well, the story is this. So we were talking a little bit before before we turned the cameras on, and it's one of those kind of things where luck is always when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
So I'd already been in the business almost 20 years, and as a trainer, and I had a reputation. This is I'm going to tell you exactly the year. It was 2002. And I always had the reputation of knowing my stuff. I was the one that was carrying the books around by microbiology, because I was doing, I was just doing everything that I could just to learn, because I felt at that time, and this kind of blends into the conversation before, I did not have. I present very well, but I'm not that. I'm not you. Like, and there was a time in the 90s and in the 80s when people said, I want to look like that, so you want to train with that person. That person may not know what the heck. Can I swear on this show, by the way?
That's not just 90s. That's now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So to make up for that, I always was like, I'm going to be the one that knows the most. I'm going to be the best coach. People are going to be attracted to me because I know my shit. Can I say that? Can I say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just no
Good.
Fs.
I won't do that, but I want to just, I don't want you to bleep me out.
I do Fs.
Okay. All right.
So Terry reminds me.
So anyway, so the story, so that's the story behind that. So, I had been involved with a company called Busybody, which was at the time the largest fitness retailer of fitness equipment in the country, based out of Dallas. And there was a time, this was 1992, November of 1992. I took a job with them, partly because I wanted to make some money. It was a really good company. And the other thing is, I kind of instinctually knew that, like, if I'm working in a place where people come in and buy home gyms, I'm going to meet a lot of people that may need help. So I built my clientele through that. And so again, and there was a lot of great guys and ladies that worked in Busybody. And we'd, get together, because there were stores all over the country, and we'd get together for these events. And I just was, had that image of knowing my stuff. And so Dr. Phil and Robin moved to LA to do the show after he had been doing Oprah for like 4 years.
Yep.
And they called Busybody to install their gym in their home where they're moving in. And a couple of Busybody guys over there, the delivery guys, and Robin goes into the room when these guys are putting the stuff together. She says, I need a trainer. Who's the person do I call? And they both said me. So she calls me. I get a call. Robin McGraw comes, this random call. I'm looking for a trainer. We talked. It was a great conversation. We set the appointment in Beverly Hills, and I told my wife later that day, I said, this lady, Beverly Hills, she and her husband just moved here to do a show. She goes, Rob, that's Dr. Phil's wife. And I'm like,
You didn't even know.
okay. So I, that was pretty cool. And I started training her, and then he would come around and I got to know him well. And then he started training with me, and I was their trainer from that's 2002 till I moved in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, because they, then they all moved to Texas eventually. So, and the COVID screwed everything up. That's a whole nother podcast too.
Yeah.
but yeah, so I started training them, and then Dr. Phil wrote the Ultimate Weight Solution that next season. And I come into the training room one day, and he's warming up on the elliptical, and he says, Robert, take a look at that notebook over there on the bench. And I go over there and look in, and I start strolling through, and it's the profiles of the 13 original Ultimate Weight Loss Challengers for Dr. Phil Ultimate Weight Loss Challenge. He goes, we're going to launch the book on the show. I want you to come on and do some training.
Let's go. That's so cool.
Yeah. Makes me choke up, because that changed my life.
Yeah.
And, that's why I'm sitting here with y'all today. I mean, reality is
Blink of an eye.
In 3 minutes, I was elevated from just a really good practitioner that really knew his stuff to, like, holy shit, I'm I'm now going to be on a national level.
That gives me chills.
Yeah.
Because everything you've been saying about like, I had to be the guy that knew my stuff, you know, like I was a heavy kid, all of this stuff put together, you know, like you really did, you know, your passion drove you to just, you know, I'm just be the best coach that I can be. I'm going to be the best trainer that I can be.
Yeah.
And that's what the universe handed you in return. It was like, yo, I see you down here, like putting it in.
I've told that story a million times, but I've never choked up like I just did. I don't know why.
I get it.
Maybe it's because your energies.
I totally
get
it.
And it's great. The energy in this room is really great.
Inspiring.
So we started. We did a 5-day shoot that was in this huge friggin' house in Beverly Hills. It had bowling alleys and Olympic pools inside and the whole thing. And I tested all the challengers. And part of that shoot, and this is another thing that changed everything for me, was that I sat just outside the set of where he did all these, Dr. Phil did the original, like, really intense individual interviews with each one of the challengers. And I watched that. And that day, I realized what I was talking about before. This is all about from the inside out. Because all these people, and I've said this so many times since then, that weight or not taking care of yourself and losing your self-care and losing yourself and obesity and all this is all a product of a much bigger life issue. And it became crystal clear. Even if it is that last 20 pounds sometimes, you're not doing what you optimally need to do to get yourself to where you want to be. And there's a reason for that. Whether it's just self-neglect, whether it's I'm too busy and you're just down the priority list. Well, you know what? If you're that busy, that means you're probably taking care of a family and you're probably taking care of a lot of people. A lot of people are dependent on you. So you owe it to them to take care of you. Because what if you drop? I've seen that. And so, you know, that goes into a deeper level, but I want to tell you, I don't want to forget to say this, because again, I'm all, you know, image and looks and everything. I mean, you look at my image, my Instagram now, I'm flashing my abs. I never did that before, but I got Medicare 2 months ago and now I'm old. Now it's like, that freaking guy's got that.
Yeah,
I want that.
Freaking cool.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, awesome. I flip that up, and I've got, you know, 4 squares there, and I'm, you know, old enough to be your grandpa. Yeah, it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So now I flaunt it.
Yeah, you should.
But
I like that people flaunt what they've earned, you know, and like what they're proud of. You know, I feel like as far as appearance goes, like I was saying, you can have those people on the far other side of it where it's like appearance doesn't matter at all, and it's like. And then they shame people for being like, I'm proud of my butt, or I'm proud of my abs, or I'm proud of my shoulders. You know, it's like, okay, why do you care? You know, like let them be proud of it. You know, but
absolutely.
Especially when you're older and you have abs.
Because they know many dudes that are 65 that's got this. I mean, I'm probably 9-10% body fat max, and I've maintained that for years. But I don't want to forget.
And you have a lot of energy. I can feel it.
Yeah. Well, this is what I do. I mean, I live this, and. You know, I remember Gunnar saying this, you know, Terry, we talked about that before when Gunnar came in one time, and I know Gunnar from a long time ago. One thing I want to repeat that he said that, you know, and I know because of being in this room where you guys are on this, you're hiring a practitioner or a doctor or whatever you are, somebody in wellness, you got to ask them, is that your career or is that your job? And the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know. But anyway, so back to the you know, that opportunity, and I saw like that day, it was crystal clear that even somebody that was just 40 pounds overweight, they had to fix their head. They had to fix a lot of stuff. And you have to fix that stuff because that's what the diet industry has never done. They guide you through, but they don't teach you anything. You have to learn skills. You have to learn self-esteem. That's a skill. Yeah. But, you know, as far as, and getting back to aesthetics and what we look like, I walked in here and I saw you and it didn't matter what you looked like because there's an energy like I'd like to talk to that person. And that's what our industry is all about. They want to be around you. Yeah. You know, how many times, I mean, just, you know, if you do a percentage of the conversation, when you sit in a room for an hour with somebody or in a space in an hour. You're talking a lot about the logistics because you're there to train them. You're there to do the work. You're there to do a job. But you get to know their families, their kids, their history, their wants, their needs, maybe some of the things that they didn't accomplish. So you get to know these people. Yeah. I mean, somebody like Dr. Phil, I've spent many, many hours in their home. And all my clients, I've trained, one of the creators of MTV. I've trained the executive director of the DGA. I've trained head of marketing for Target, Walmart.
You got all the corporate guys.
Yeah. That's where I went. When I went to LA, I didn't want to be trainer to the stars. Yeah. Because trainers to the stars, from what I saw, it's like, well, you got to be at their beck and call. I wanted to, and this again, not to sound arrogant, I wanted to be the star. I wanted to be the guy that they go to.
Yeah.
So my first business name was ExecuFit Life. I wanted to business people, their time is limited. They want to self-care, but they don't think they have time. So they make an appointment and you're there, and they want to be, for 1 hour, want to be told what to do instead of telling people what to do.
Yeah.
And they need it, but they don't necessarily, they won't do it on their own. Yeah. So, and they've got the means to keep it going.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I've said a lot there.
Oh, good. Robert,
I'd love to sit down for coffee and talk business with you.
Yeah, this has been good. We got to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and start to wrap this thing up. All right.
Cool.
Welcome to Game Day Men's Health in Green Hills in Nashville, Tennessee. We are a men's health clinic. We're doing a lot with testosterone replacement therapy. So welcome to our clinic. What you'll be able to do is get your blood work. We'll send it back to our in-house labs. We'll test your total testosterone, your PSA, and then your H&H as well. So we'll get those results within about that 20-25 minute mark. You'll be able to sit down with our licensed clinician and go over your results. We do a lot with medical weight loss, vitamin injections. We have a few ED services as well. And then we also do a lot with peptide therapy as well. And it is something that you want to move forward with if it makes sense. You should be in and out in about 45 minutes.
Are back with listen, man, your resume speaks for itself. You have done a little bit of everything, but the story that I want to kind of jump into is what we were talking about offline a little bit. Now, Dr. Phil started this makeover for the show, right?
Was it the ultimate weight loss challenge?
Ultimate weight challenge. For the show, and that turned into, or somebody came in and took that show and made it, I'll use the word bigger.
Yeah,
so
put a bump.
Right, you see what I did there? You'll see what I did there in a second.
Yeah, that was good, man. That's why you're hosting this show.
That's why I'm here.
Told you it's funny.
Yeah, that somehow turned into The Biggest Loser. Tell us about that story.
Well, what we did with the Ultimate Weight Loss Challenge, we did 13 challengers, and we had the whole competition and the winner and the whole thing. It was amazing. Yeah. It drew a lot of attention. And the very next year, as I remember it, because you're talking about, this is about 2003, 2004, very next year, right before their season started, somebody sends me a copy of Variety magazine, Hollywood Reporter or Variety, I think both actually, cover page. NBC buys X amounts of episodes of The Biggest Loser. First line of the article, it's a cross between Big Brother and Dr. Phil's Ultimate Weight Loss Challenge. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, why didn't I think of that? No, but it was like, okay, that, obviously what we did was great. Yeah. When when somebody emulates you, then, I was the head trainer nutritionist and I did a lot of the work, but it was a whole thing that, we had, at that point, actually, I was just the trainer because there was another nutritionist, and I got the nutritionist position 2 years later. But we had a team of, doctors, we had nutritionists, we had Dr. Phil, of course, and we made this, it was amazing. But that show, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think it set weight loss eventually as it went on and on. It set weight loss back 15, 20 years.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Tell
about
me,
that.
we've talked about this. Explain to our listeners why you think that.
Well, because the message was, and again, what we do, people come to us for help. And you want to teach them skills. You want to teach them skills, self-esteem. I always say skills, tools, simple knowledge, and the personal empowerment and the confidence to carry the baton yourself.
Yeah.
That show, you get lucky enough to get chosen to the farm to go there for however long it was. You get the shit beat out of you mentally and physically for 8-10 hours a day, which has not even remotely close to real life.
No.
You're supposed to take
Even the
that.
fittest people don't do that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. And the weight, I think the weigh-ins, quote unquote, whatever they were, the assessments were questionable, but that, I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
But just, and you notice you never saw any follow-ups on that because those people all, it's metabolism 101. You lose weight like that, you're going to gain it back in droves. That's just basic knowledge. But that show would profit $100 million on showing a facade.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't know if that was their intention. Doesn't matter.
Entertainment.
It was entertainment,
Yeah.
but at the expense of people's. You talk about somebody that loses. You get so many trips to the weight loss well before the well runs dry. Your body will just you become weight loss resistant.
Wow.
And in something like that, most of those folks would become weight loss resistant. So what we did on Dr. Phil is we did it the real way. What you saw was what you got, because that's A, I would have never been involved with it otherwise, but B, that's who Dr. Phil is. It's just the whole program is filled with major integrity and truth. So that's my take on it. And so it just set everybody back. And so again, the message was like, you got people out there that want to, are we entertaining people or are we trying to inspire and help people? Because the obesity rate, even since that show, has probably gone up 20%. In the early 1960s, obesity was, it's tripled since the early 1960s. And you look at pictures of people in the 50s and the 40s, there was no obesity. And 100 years ago, if you were obese, you were in the circus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a whole thing, with ultra processed food.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's more of a food thing, but because I also think, and I'm a product of it, I think The Biggest Loser created a fitness boom as well. Like from a trainer standpoint, from an exposure standpoint, like I remember watching that show and thinking, that's what I want to do.
Right.
Like now I didn't know the behind the scenes. I didn't know the people,
right.
But I remember seeing the Jillian, the Dovettes of the world, and saying like, I love how they interact with their clients. I love how they can grab this one person and say, hey, no, let's lock in.
Yeah.
And at the end of this, now I can't control what happens when you get home, but at the end of this, when you leave the farm, you'll leave 100 pounds lighter if you listen to me, right? And I think others saw that and said, I want to be a trainer. Because our industry was never this. It was never this big before The Biggest Loser. Even looking up, like as growing up, the only people that I knew that were trainers was Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
What's I hate that I'm forgetting his name right now. Tybo guy.
Billy Blanks. Billy Blanks, yeah.
Yes, Billy Blanks,
yeah.
Sean T, right? I am nothing like any of those people, right? So when I looked and said, okay, I'm good, you should be a trainer. Someone said you should be a trainer. I was like, who do I look at to emulate? Because I'm nothing like Billy Blanks. I'm nothing like Sean T or Richard
like
Simmons.
Richard Simmons, you don't think so?
I don't think me and Richard have a lot in common.
I'll tell you, while you're on Richard Simmons, and if anybody even listening even knows who he is, he was probably one of the first ever real, besides Jack LaLanne, a true fitness guru, a fitness guru. Now what Richard Simmons' magic was, he did not speak at people. He came around and spoke with them, and he was one of them. And you have not seen anybody. I emulated a lot of my career. I spent the day with him. Back when I used to work for one of my first real jobs in LA, was an assistant to the producer for a fitness and health show called Alive and Well. And I spent the day with him because I was assistant to the main producer, and he was interesting, to put it mildly. But it was a really great experience. But his magic was he really cared.
Yeah.
He really cared. So what you're saying is it exposed trainers, but in my opinion, it exposed a training method and a training what do I say, program or plan or whatever, or approach.
I think, unrealistic approach.
That I was not on board with.
I'm with you, yes.
But it did elevate.
We didn't have celebrity trainers before that.
Right.
Like, that you knew about.
Yeah.
Right? Like you, Gunner, Jake, all you guys were doing your things, but you were in LA.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like we saw Jake on, if you stayed up late enough to see Body by Jake infomercials at 11, we saw that. But I
still see it on YouTube now.
I wasn't like, oh, I want to be like that guy. I was like, man, who's this guy with the ponytail? I would never I would never do that, right? So that's just what I mean. But I think there's some good and bad that came from The Biggest Loser with our industry. I think it did, and we talked about this offline. It did definitely create unexpected results, right? Like listen, you can't come and train with me for an hour and lose 100 pounds in 3 months. It's not gonna happen, right? Not just with that alone. We're coming to the end, and so we always just like to leave our people with the last word,
right?
And so that can be anything fitness related, that can be anything motivational. Please make sure you, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but make sure you plug your corporate wellness and your app.
Appreciate
that. I feel like we could dedicate a podcast to each part of your resume.
I know each thing that you've done, man. I feel like this one is
I'm
definitely
just like fascinated by it. I could keep talking about it.
Should be a longer podcast, but
and I love your values. I love what you stand for. I mean, it really resonates for me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it is. You know, this is. I don't think I ever could have worked a quote unquote real job. I don't think I would have lasted this long, honestly. You know, because I grew up, like I said, I grew up heavy kid, and I grew up kind of a normal Midwestern, middle class life. I just wanted a little bit more. That's why I packed up my car and went to LA. So, but this is who I am, and that's and I appreciate the opportunity to come today, because when I get to do these kind of things, I get to really let that out, because I'm the worst self-promoter. But when I get a set, I'm a really good one, because I can just be. I was years ago, I went to Hollywood, I'll be honest with you, to get into acting. I found it much easier to play myself.
Yeah.
And I did okay, and I did some stuff out there, but I got into wellness and fitness. I actually got into fitness, and then it became wellness. And so this is what I do, and I've been doing this so long. A lot of people that are where I am in life, they're thinking about retirement. I'm like, retire? You freaking kidding me? I've got a base and a foundation to, I think, change the world in many regards. And that opportunity is this is all because of what's going on politically right now. Whether you believe in it or not, it's all going to be elevated in the right way. And so the last word is, I want to tell everybody, I have a company called Revive and Sustain Wellness. I have an app, and my goal with this app and my team was to put everything that you like about every app into one app. And it's ready. It's ready to go, www.reviveandsustain.com. I have a great team. I have a great corporate wellness program with a major company here in Nashville right now that's been amazing. They're just incredible people, and that's given me the opportunity to elevate into more. And I've done a lot of corporate wellness along the way. So corporate wellness, I think, is an opportunity, or group or schools is an opportunity to reach a lot of different people. We train people one-on-one, which we want. We make a living at it. But you reach more people in these group kind of situations. So I want to let everybody.
People who really need it, that like,
oh yeah,
like you said earlier, like, because it's all appearance, and that's what the industry kind of like embraces the most.
Are you ready to take your fitness and wellness journey to the next level? Look no further than Nutrishop, your ultimate destination for all things health and nutrition. Whether you're looking to build muscle, lose weight, or just live a healthier lifestyle, Nutrishop has everything you need to reach your goals. With a wide range of premium supplements, vitamins, and sports nutrition products, Nutrishop provides the fuel your body needs to perform at its best. Plus, our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and personalized recommendations to help you achieve your fitness goals faster. Visit your local Nutrishop today and discover the difference premium supplements can make in your life. Nutrishop, where your health and wellness are our top priorities. Live better, feel better, Nutrishop, the official supplement store partner of Nashville Fit magazine.
People don't feel like they can get in, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you're in the corporate world, and you're very much so in the corporate world, like you're not dabbling in other, like the fitness world a little bit, like
Right.
that's your life, like, and it's important to those people. So like, but they also deserve to be healthy and
100%.
do corporate life in a healthy place,
Yep,
and
yep.
so, trainers, I don't know how many of us are thinking about that,
Right.
like, we're not going to the corporate building to ask the corporate people, do you need help? Like we're in the gym, it's like, come to
Yeah.
me, but like, or I'll put it on my Instagram. Like, do you need
Yeah.
help? But like, how many people are you going to reach from there? Like if you're considering things outside of the fitness industry and things outside of fitness in general, there's people out there, that don't know where to get started.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. 80% of Americans are not, don't even know this is, it's
Right.
not even in their realm. So the corporate wellness is a great opportunity. But I want two things really quick, because I know you guys got to wrap, but I work
we're
off
here
of
for
a
it.
model called I call it the RR Big Four of life. Now, I didn't reinvent the wheel on this. We most of us that do what I do at my level for as long as I've done it, I talk about optimum exercise. I talk about optimum nutrition. I talk about proper rest, and I talk about stress management, and how each one of these four aspects that are part of all of our lives work independently and synergistically to make us not just fit, but who we are. And that's where corporate wellness comes in, because you work 60 to 80 hours a week when you've got 3,000 people answering to you. Then you go home and you raise your family and you got to do all that. You're talking a lot. And that's why I say, this corporate wellness provides the executives. I do what's called an executive optimization program, where it's for the executives. You got to take care of the top so your company can run. But it gives them an opportunity to self-care when they normally wouldn't. And the other thing, going back to image and looks and everything, again, I want to say, before we wrap this today, both of you look amazing, but it's about who you are.
Yes.
Each one of you, everybody in here, it's about who you are. Coming in here today, this is what people that seek out our industry want. They want to walk in and feel comfortable. If they're 100 pounds overweight and they haven't taken care of themselves in a long time, and they've had a tragedy in their life or an injury or whatever, they want to feel comfortable. And that's what it's about. You reach those people, the people that do what we do and live like us, they're easy. They're in the club. Show me. They say, sign me up. But it's the folks out there that we're talking about that you don't even know. You got to uncover them and bring them out, because those are the people. Healthcare costs. Healthcare industry in the United States is the largest industry in the world, bigger than tech, bigger than anything, and that's a problem. So I want to fix it.
I'm really
help
glad
fix it.
you said that today. I really needed to hear that.
Yeah,
That was really.
Where can people find you? When our viewers come and look for you, where are you on social? What are you website again?
Well, I've got the Revive. It's reviveandsustain.com. That's for the app, and that shows some. That has a lot of my history on there, and shows a lot of what my team does. Instagram, I'm probably the most active on. It's at Real Robert Reames.
Okay.
I had an Instagram account that had like 45,000 people on it, stolen 2 years ago. So I started it over. It's doing well, but it got stolen. And it's like, it's ransomware kind of stuff. It got stolen.
People
I mean,
do
it would
that.
but a lot of people came back, and it's pretty good. And I do a lot of stuff. I post a lot of videos. I post videos on, I do, tips and all that kind of stuff, but I post a lot of stuff about life.
Okay.
And, about that kind of thing, because again, I think that's what it's all about. You take care of your life, and your life will then make you fit. So at Real Robert Reames, and it's spelled ROBERTREAMES.
Perfect.
Because a lot of people will lose the E on the end. Facebook, I've got the Revive and Sustain Wellness fan page. And that's actually under Facebook, long story. It's actually under www.facebook.com/Robert Reames Live. And you can find it there. And then I've got a personal Facebook page, and I post a lot of stuff on there. I do a little bit on Twitter, at Robert Reames. I'm starting to do more a little bit.
Do you mean X?
X. Sorry about that. Yeah, X, Twitter. Sorry, Elon.
I know I have such a hard time with it too. I'm not
anyway,
even on it, but
yeah. But if you Google my name, you'll find me.
Find you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Google me, baby. I know. That's what I'm talking about. Thank
So
you guys
cool.
so much for checking in today with myself and Robert. I am the Gerell Webb. This is your girl.
I'm Sav.
And I'll see you guys the next time you press play.